Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Shooting the Shieet with a Yankee
A Canuck.
and our friend here.
Chinoy. How's it going, everyone?
All right. Welcome.
Good to have you.
We have another animal in our ranks here. You are a roast pig. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct. My
A
good
roast
man.
pig.
I'm a roast pig. A
Lechon.
roasted pig.
What is your
Yeah,
what is your
lechon,
We're
exactly.
about to eat him at the end of this.
what is your
I got
full
charred.
what is your full name, by the way?
My full name is Chinoy the Cebu Lechon or Cebuchon.
Which
Go
means
call me Chinoy Cebuchon. It means Cebu Lechon. What do I call it? Cebu roasted pig.
hell yeah.
Lechon is a Spanish word for leche, or rather a suckling pig. But for some reason, semantic shift turned into the roasted pig, even if it's not a suckling pig anymore.
There
That's
we go.
who I am, Chinoy the Cebu Lechon.
He's a bright red roasted pig.
The Filipinos don't mess around when it comes to pork, man. They do some
we
magic. Some magic right there. It's great. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they cannibalize often. It's like we eat each other very often and we're very tasty.
Right, that's right.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. So for this episode, we're going to be talking about films that we have seen, films that are coming up, or TV shows if you prefer. So anything that you guys have seen recently that's interesting or you want to see that's interesting?
For me, I
you
just
go
want to
ahead.
say that it's. Oh, I'm so sorry. Canuck, go ahead. I'm so
No,
sorry,
you
man.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Everyone's too
Okay,
goddamn polite on this fucking thing.
Go ahead.
I know. I don't know why.
Be an asshole.
Sorry,
Someone
sorry.
be an asshole here. Be like, hey, motherfucker, I'm talking.
Started by nature.
I
I'm Canadian.
I know. And apparently not in Chinoy's either. Well,
Oh.
Chinoy, what are you looking forward to? Or what have you seen?
What I've seen so far, have been like Ghostbusters Afterlife, The Beekeeper, Retribution, Boy Kills World, Bob Marley, and One Love, and Sasquatch Sunset. So that's 6 movies actually in just one week. That's because I am an avid library goer, and I had these movies like put on hold for me before like maybe 6 months ago or 3 months ago, and they just came at the same time. Like I was drowning in these movies, man. One of them I didn't even get to like watch. But as far as what I liked out of all these six, I enjoyed most Bob Marley, One Love. Ghostbusters, not so much.
Is that the
unfortunately.
new one that came out?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
biopic with Bob Marley. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going
yeah.
to ask you, what you thought of that Bob Marley movie?
Oh, it was fun. I mean, I would have loved the movie to have delved into Bob Marley's life further, but what they did was focus on his exile to the UK and his comeback. That really was it, and how he died. I mean, spoiler alert, he died. That sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Unless you think he's on an island somewhere.
Yeah.
With Tupac and
sure what it was.
Biggie and Elvis and Kurt Cobain. And they're all just drinking.
Right.
No, I think he died in 1980. Pretty sure.
Yeah, around there. Yes,
Or
around there.
81 maybe.
Yeah, from cancer that originated from underneath his toenail, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And he did not
That's
want
right.
he did not want to amputate it because he was just like, no, it's against my Rastafarian beliefs to do that. And I'm like, okay, and then he died.
Yeah, I mean,
unsurprisingly
Exactly.
enough. So
Exactly, yeah. He tried some alternative treatments, I remember, and I'm a big fan of listening to music and reggae music in general a lot growing up. And,
yeah, I would have cut that
um,
goddamn toe right off, but whatever.
So yeah, I do remember reading.
I mean, it's just a toe, man.
I know.
Yeah.
You could have just wore it around
Yeah.
your neck, be like, it's not, it's not like dislocated from you. It's still a part of you. It's just around your neck now.
Oh no.
There's a necklace. Wow. Like one of those what do you call it now? Shrunken heads.
Yeah, exactly. And be like, you could have found a
Shrunken-
loophole. I mean, I don't
Shrunken
know.
toe.
You could just kind of make some bullshit up, I imagine. But whatever. Whatever it is, what it is.
Yeah.
He lived the
Yeah.
way he lived. So
Yeah. I
But
definitely want
one
to check
thing-
that movie out.
Yeah, please do. One of the things that I really loved about it was the singing. I mean, it's obviously Bob Marley, but in some of the scenes, the actor, what was his name now, Benadir, Kingsley Benadir, he was actually singing. He was able to like get the timbre of his voice, and I salute him for that. That was enjoyable. Yeah.
Hell
yeah, I might see that at some point, I guess. I don't know. Like I saw it in theaters,
Okay.
the trailer anyway. And I was like, maybe I'll see it. And I never got around to it. I'm like, I don't feel like it. There's like not enough
Yeah.
movies that inspire me to go out in the theaters these days.
Mhm.
I do have a thing called the Moviepass, and so with that, I'm like, well, it's cumulative. If the credits roll over every month if you don't
Okay.
use it. So I'm like,
Sure,
well,
yeah.
so it gets me out into the theater but now they racked up, the prices every time you see a movie. So now even now
Right.
I'm a little
Of
more
course.
selective in terms of what I want to see, even with that movie pass.
But how many movies do you get to see every month?
Assuming that you want to watch a movie at 9 o'clock in the morning on every Tuesday, a 3
Mm.
every month.
Three? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're
Alright,
probably
that's
seeing
easy.
1 or maybe even 2 a month. If you were to use it like normal people use it, which is watch a movie in the evening or something.
Oh, okay. All right. So it goes by price, and it's not one of those hey, you get this amount of tickets every month.
Yeah.
It's actually a price. Okay. Okay. Got it,
Yeah,
got it.
it incentivizes you to like kind of forget about it. That's how they make their money.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what the last movie I saw with that thing was. Maybe no, it was Alien Romulus. Yeah, that was the last one.
Mhm.
Which me and Canuck here did a review on that. A grand total of what 5 people saw.
Okay.
Like our review on Alien Romulus. Fantastic. Got a spoiler-free one, a spoiler one, extended spoiler one.
No, we
Be
don't.
sure to check that. I don't
We had an
remember.
extended spoiler. Yeah, we had an extended spoiler for Deadpool Wolverine, but not for Alien
Oh,
Romulus.
okay, yeah, not
Yes.
for Alien Romulus. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a demand, sure. I mean, there was quite a lot on the cutting room floor, and in regards to that
Yeah.
film, we could have gone on and on about that. But
Could have, yeah.
But Chinoy, have you seen Alien Romulus at all, or nah?
I have not. I have not. I don't even know what it is. Are we talking about a movie that's like
It's
that
part
sports
of
the alien, like that guy? I mean
the
the alien
xenomorph, the
name.
black alien.
Is it,
Yeah.
here we go. Sorry. Yeah, name Xenomorph. Okay. All right. I think I've seen the trailer only. I wanted to check it out, but I mean, like, yeah,
Do you even
I will
like?
just
Do
wait.
you like those movies at all, or you don't care for them?
I don't really care that much for them. It's more like yeah, sure, if it's available, I'll watch it. I don't even. Here's the thing with me with movies. I watched them, but I don't really remember the stories anymore. When I was younger, I guess it's because I'm older now. I don't know. Like I just have this amnesia. Whenever I would watch a movie, and then after like even just a week, I don't remember the storyline. Or maybe movies are just have just become too generic and not even like memorable for at least for me. Okay, or I'm
Yeah.
just jaded from all the movies I've seen. Nothing really stimulates me anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's happening. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, because there's so much in terms of choice these days because of the internet, and not that there weren't, you know, not a lot of movies back then. There were actually a ton of movies back then and TV shows as well.
Yeah.
But now,
Mhm.
because there's so many different channels and so many different things coming out at once, it gets really overwhelming. Like last night, I noticed that there was like this thing. I don't remember what it's called. Something about drones or something like that. I thought it was going to be about drones because
Uh-huh.
it had drones in the title. Turns out it's a cartoon series and no dialogue from what I can surmise. And this is really popular, and this is what kids are watching. So, and this is a YouTube only
Okay.
thing. So I'm like, man, there's so much stuff now that I just can't even fathom. And it's going to get even crazier with AI. Sora, for instance, the open source
Oh
AI
my gosh.
software. So yeah,
Right.
it's just going to get unbelievably ridiculous. Like the amount of like IP breaking stuff that's on the horizon, all the crossovers you never thought you wanted and never asked for, you're gonna get.
I'm not even here right now. It's actually an AI of the moose.
Funnily enough, some people thought your voice was an AI.
Really? Oh, wow.
Because of this deep.
Now I'm
deep,
offended. I'm highly offended. Now I'm like, no AI.
No
Lie.
AI. No.
It's a damn lie. Nope. This voice is just pretty much all I got going for me.
Well, Canuck, what have you been seeing lately?
Primarily watching horror movies, as usual. My go-to. I think I've seen like 3,000 horror movies, which surprises some people. It really shouldn't, because if you think about it, I suspect most people who aren't avid horror fans like I am, I suspect they've seen probably at least 500.
I
if
mean,
you add up all the franchises and these people watch.
believe it or not, there are
all-
people that don't watch movies at all.
Well, that yeah, we haven't.
Or they watch very, very few of them.
True, yeah. But as far as people who watch movies in general, they've probably seen more horror movies than they think that they have. Like, so I mean, just think of how many sequels there are of, Friday the 13th or Saw or whatever. It's like, if you've seen all those, that starts adding up. You've seen a lot of horror movies.
I mean, if you're
So-
a casual moviegoer, perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. So I just focus on that more because it's a genre I enjoy. I watch everything else too, but so yeah, primarily been watching horror movies. But it's funny because you said something that resonates with me as far as film, and you forget the movies, and that actually is happening to me more and more. I watch so many movies, especially horror movies, and that I sometimes will forget, and I'm like, okay, that's right, I did see that movie, and I guess it comes with the territory when you've seen a movie or you've seen a genre, thousands of movies in that genre, and
Yeah, of course.
a lot of them, they all blend together sometimes. And
And out of all those thousands of horror films, what have you seen lately?
yeah,
Because
that's a good question.
I know you're doing a
Trying
lot
to
of
think,
reviews for the channel, and
I
some
do
of
have
them
a
you're
lot of
not going to
stuff.
want to talk about. I imagine, but
Yeah, there's going to be quite a few I'm going to be dropping, and so there's quite a lot.
well, let's talk about
Uh,
this. There's a Nosferatu film that's coming out on Christmas this year.
Absolutely, yeah. That's Eggers, right? Director
Robert
of
Eggers,
The
yeah.
Witch. He did The Lighthouse, and he did The Northman. 3 movies I enjoyed. All 3 of them were great movies. The Witch was great, and definitely looking forward to Nosferatu. I mean,
Yeah, I
if you
mean,
if you haven't seen it, the original, see it. There's a remake as well. Check that out.
yeah, that's the one with
Great.
Klaus Kinski as
Yeah,
Nosferatu, Werner Herzog.
Herzog, yep.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's a good one. The original's good too. I'll watch this one because I do like Eggers. I mean, I love The Witch. The Witch is probably one of the best horror films I've seen in years. I did not like The Lighthouse though. I thought, well, this is interesting, but beyond that, I just didn't care for it. I didn't see what was that called, Norseman or something, the Viking one.
I think it's just called The Northman, but yeah,
Northman,
Norseman,
yeah, that,
essentially.
yeah. So I'm like, I haven't seen it. I want to see it, but I heard it
It was good.
was interesting. Yeah, heard it was good or interesting or whatnot. Failed at the
Yeah,
box office, but
it did. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
The Witch is definitely my favorite film he's done. I think he's only done those 3 films.
I think so too. I mean, his
Maybe missing one. There maybe is a 4th movie he's done, but I don't recall.
those are the
But
only 3. Those are the only ones I can think of. The only his contemporary is what's his name? Arri, the guy who did Midsommar.
oh yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, that guy. I forgot his name, but yeah, he did that. He did Hereditary. He did this really messed up short film. I think it was
Oh
based on a book.
yeah. Aster, Ari Aster.
Ari Aster, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he did a messed up short film. I think it was based on a book or short story of some kind.
Right.
Yeah, and Hereditary I didn't care for, but Midsommar was pretty good. I thought, okay, this is good. If he makes more films like this, then I would definitely keep watching him.
Yeah, Midsommar was good. It's got that build up, and maybe not for everybody. I mean, it kind of reminds you of The Wicker Man a little bit. But,
Yeah, it's one of those weird films. It's one of those films I don't want to talk, even though it's been out already for a while, and probably a lot of people have seen it. I still don't want to spoil it because I went in there not really knowing what it was about.
right.
So by the time I was done with the film, I was like, well, I didn't expect that at all. So that was interesting. And I like not being spoiled when it comes to films. I try to avoid it as much as possible, but there's some people that just have a real hard on for like spoiling stuff. It's like there was the case for the Deadpool and Wolverine film. Like people were spoiling the hell out of it. Oh, this person's going to be in it and this is going to happen. I'm like, what? Do you people like surprises or do you not like surprises? Do you like going into a film being like, I know every single thing about the plot from beginning to end? Yeah. Okay, you wasted $20 for what? Like what? I mean, I don't understand the point. But
Exactly, yeah. It's definitely a problem. I mean, I think we the 3 of us, we all know people who are like that just want to spoil shit and talk about something. And it's like, hold on, calm down. Let me watch the damn movie, and then we can, Everybody knows someone like that, right? So
Actually, I have to be honest. I actually used to be that kind of people, but I stopped because I don't know, for some reason when I was younger, I just wanted to like, hey, this is what happened at the end of the movie, and then they the people who I was with did not really mind. So but then when I when I moved to a different place, I encountered people like you, Canuck and Yankee. I didn't want the movie spoiled, so I learned. I adapted and I didn't spoil anything anymore. But yeah, that's cool. And I actually had a question for you, Canuck. Do you
Yeah.
still get scared when you watch these movies? Because I don't. I'm not, man. I'm just. I recently watched Scream. I was not like, I was just like, okay, this is, I know that they're gonna die. Like, I needed something else. Like the last movie that I remember being scared and being and enjoyed it at the same time was Cabin in the Woods. It was
Okay.
because it was just like but do you get scared?
Not really. Not in the way that a lot of people do. I mean, I think in some horror movies or movies in general, if there's a jump scare or something like that, you're gonna have a response. But I don't really consider that one that doesn't usually affect me, but sometimes it's going to affect everybody, like especially in a booming theater, the speakers and all that. But
Okay.
typically, no, I don't get scared. Maybe not like I used to when I was a kid. Watching. I grew up watching. Whatever rated R movies, horror movies as a kid, and there wasn't really any limit to what I could watch. I grew up watching whatever
Yeah,
action movies and stuff.
I think the only films
and
I got scared of, even as an adult now, are those Paranormal Activity movies.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
but even scared. When you say scared, I don't feel like even if there's a temporary moment of
No, the whole film,
discomfort.
most of
I
those
don't
films
get
fill
that,
me
yeah.
with dread from beginning to end because it's an
Yeah.
it's an anticipatory thing for me. Like what's
Okay.
going to come out or what's going to happen to these characters. Not necessarily because I
Yeah.
care about the characters per se, but it's more like these characters are presented as if they're real people. It's like you're watching like a true crime documentary and you have like
Yeah.
this regular person who could be you died this way. And you're just like, "Oh, wow.
Maybe
Please
he
tell me
lives next
more."
door to you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where a lot
Your
of the fear-
neighbor is a cannibal.
Exactly. It's like what Chinoy was talking about in regards to Scream. Yeah, that film itself, I mean, it's more of a parody than an actual horror film, and
It is.
it's not really a scary film for me either. But the story that inspired it is pretty spooky if you know about it.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Like,
I would
was
say-
it
I
an
would-
actual king?
Well,
Or
the
what?
just to quickly
What?
run by it, Scream was inspired
Yeah.
by a real case that happened in Florida of this guy who was preying on young college age women in the college campus, and he was like basically going into the dorms, and he was I don't want to get into the weeds about this one. He was murdering them and doing other things to them, and then it culminated to
Mm.
finally him getting captured, and he got the death penalty, I believe, and I think he died. So.
Yep.
That case inspired the writer to come up with the concept of Scream, and then he brought it to Wes Craven, and then they made the film.
Those
Okay.
events occurred only a few years, I think, if I recall.
Yeah.
Before the movie came out.
Yeah, because Scream came out in, like,
Literally
what,
was going on in the
95?
90s.
Yeah.
Yes, yep.
Scream came out in
Also
95
90s.
or something like that, so this case happened about 3 or 4 years prior.
Correct. Yeah, it was in Gainesville, I think.
Yeah, it was in Florida, yeah.
A lot of shit.
Yeah, that's what he was called, the Gainesville Rippers, the name of the murderer.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating case, honestly, if you look into it. So
Yeah. But going back to what you were saying in terms of getting scared, typically, no, I don't. And I'll be honest with you, me personally, I'm just kind of like, no, but I've seen, and with movies, I've seen everything, these horror movies and whatever. And what makes me scared is like the stuff that's real, that's, that's
Definitely.
which should make everyone scared, and the things that are going on in the world and whatnot, and not to go into any detail, and then what's scary is what people are capable of doing, and sometimes movies can present that. I like some movies that have like implication, or it's like implied gore and things like that. It doesn't have to be over the top like Saw or something in regards
Saw,
to horror
man.
movies. And sometimes I like the horror films that have implied gore and things like that. I think that has a great effect. And
no,
So-
I like the gore. I like the practical effects.
it's
like-
great too.
I mean, yeah,
love-
it's
Some
fun to
movies
watch.
require it.
No,
Some of them
it's fun to
require.
watch.
I mean, on
Sometimes,
top of
yeah.
all the Saw films, on top of all
Yeah.
the Paranormal Activity films, I do like all the Saw films, and I like the first 2 Hostel films. I like all that.
Yeah, there's a film for that, and then there's a film for the other build up and having it's kind of what could have happened is in itself kind of scary, and it kind of is based on the idea of like what people are capable of doing, and we already know people and animals in general capable of doing
Of course, the primal fear of what's out there.
disturbing shit.
Animals, fellow man, the unknown,
And,
all that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think I'm at the point where nothing scares me in the sense when it comes to film. It's just, and I'm just kind of like, I've seen enough that I'm just like, oof,
Well, honestly, the worst shit out there is just really documentaries about stuff that happens in real
Exactly.
life, honestly, and not
Exactly.
necessarily
Jeff-
murders, but
real life is
other
scary.
stuff.
So
Human
can be,
trafficking and all this other stuff. I mean, that stuff is just like
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
horrifying. So
that definitely scares me when I watch those. Like, I've seen like a documentary about Jeffrey Dahmer, and even the fictional version of that. Now that I got scared. I really was scared when I was watching it.
the
So
one with
I enjoyed.
Evan Peters, that one.
Is that his name? Yes. It was on Netflix.
It was on the Netflix. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was scary. Now that I could like, really tell you that because I knew that it was real. So I guess for me, what scares me is if it's like based on something true. Like it may be dramatized, but
Exactly.
it happened. When I
Yeah.
watched like Saw or any of the other franchise that has like all these gore, in the back of my mind I'm like, I guess I could not really suspend my disbelief anymore. I think that's what's happening with me, and I could not really say tell them. I mean, I've been on sets too, so I see how they do this.
Yeah,
So,
I don't
so I
know
know
what
it's fake.
I don't know what people expect from the Saw movies in particular, is because the Saw movies are just like, for me, when I watch them, I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder what cool trap they're going to come up with, and I wonder if they're going to get out or if they're not going to get
Yes.
out. That to me is just what the
Mhm.
whole thing is about to me in the first place. Yeah, the story is kind of secondary, and it's a pretty decent story. I mean, it went off the rails after I think the fourth or the fifth Saw film.
Yeah, I stopped
One of the
watching.
At that point, it just got ridiculous. But I like the story, generally speaking. So I was like, oh, this is not too bad. And I like the
Yeah.
traps and all others.
Yeah, the traps.
The only ones I
Okay.
absolutely hated. The only film I absolutely hated was Spiral. That's one with
Uh,
Chris Rock as the detective.
Yeah, Chris Rock was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awful,
I've seen
man.
it.
I was like, I heard it was awful, but people been saying that for Saw for a long time, and I generally like all the Saw films. But I saw this one and I was like, yeah, this is terrible. Chris Rock
I
was
see.
trying to act seriously in it. That was the problem, and good on him for trying to do something a little different. I guess he doesn't want to be just known as a funny guy. Like, hey guys, I can act too. I'm Chris Rock, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's cool, dude. But you got to work on your craft a little bit more. Get an acting coach, do some more acting classes. I would say,
Yeah.
as if I have any sway on what the man does. He's a millionaire. He can do whatever he wants. But
Yeah.
you know,
It's one of the best comics of all time. So
yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. But I think if he wants to break out of it, he's got to really take classes, or he's got to be an understudy to someone, or just
right.
really work on it. And I feel, I don't know, because Chris Rock has a particular charisma to him. I feel that he could probably pull it off, but he also has, I think, for doing stand up for so many years, he has a particular persona that he is. Maybe that's just him as a person, but whenever he executes any jokes or he's just talking, he's like, "Hi guys, I'm Chris Rock." He does that thing. It's just like he has like that certain cadence, I guess you could say, of him executing certain lines of dialogue, and you think like, "Oh, is he gonna do a funny?" And he's not. He's just trying to be serious, and it's just like it throws you off. Certain
Yeah.
certain comedic actors can pull it off, though.
Yeah.
Like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey.
I mean, he's
think
got
Yeah.
yeah.
Robin
Without a
Williams.
doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of his a couple of his specials. I think what was it, Black and Blacker or Bigger and Blacker that came out 25 years ago. I guess that's one of the best ones. I think. What was the one? Bring the Pain. That was a special in the 90s, in the mid 90s. One of the best stand up specials as well I've seen. Big fan of stand up comedy in general. Yeah, I mean, what a legend. Yeah, like you said, the acting, I don't know, but I didn't even watch that movie. So, but yeah, one of the best, stand-up comics of all time, hands down.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to go hungry anytime soon. He's got something to carry him.
But when you were saying earlier about not to go back to it, but
You can go back if you want to.
as far as the Saw, and I'm going to. There's no stopping the moose. What was it to say?
The Saw films.
The Saw movies, right? So that's for some people very scary, right? It's gruesome and whatnot. It just doesn't really happen much. There are places that probably some similar has happened and whatnot, but when you were saying Jeffrey Dahmer and things like that, I mean that motherfucker's been dead for like 30 years, right? And but the reality is there's people who are like him who live probably closer to you than you think. Truly, I'm not saying the same events and same things, but there are people like that, similar to that, who are nearby. The reality is,
Well, isn't
the events of
cannibalism
stuff.
its
So
oldest
that's more
time?
scary in a sense. In that sense, if you think about it.
Well, he's just
Because the Saw events, there's no torture house going on down the street. Like
as far as we know, anyway. But
yeah, it does. That occurs too, but it's very rare. In other parts of the world, it's more. There's more of it. And
I can only assume, because I can't think of a specific
Right.
case. So I mean,
Yeah.
but wicked things do happen around the world. So I mean, it's the
Yeah.
basis for a lot of, if not all, horror films. So
Exactly, but the individual like Dahmer and all these people and Geen and all whoever and like that type of person and thinking and wiring and Like that's not, a rare thing. There are people like that. So think about that. So now be scared. Be scared. Be very scared. Maybe they live next door to you.
Well, I'm an American.
Or not.
I have guns, so I could just kill them.
There you go. Now we're strapped. So we're good.
Boom. Yeah. So, but other than all that, there
You're
was
like,
a
you're
film.
like my what? That neighbor? My neighbor's cool. He wouldn't hurt a fly.
Oh no! And turns out I'm not gonna go into it. I was gonna say some fucked up shit, but I don't want to. Yeah, but the only other thing I've been watching lately, is this really weird film. Talking about criminals, as a matter of fact. Roman Polanski's film Pirates.
Yeah, well, he's a criminal.
He absolutely is, no doubt about it. But he's a pretty good filmmaker.
Good filmmaker, a terrible human being.
Absolutely terrible human being. Yeah. I mean, he's up there with Kevin Spacey. Who's the obviously Weinstein, Cosby. Who's that other guy I'm trying to think of? Woody Allen, allegedly. Yeah, he's up there. But I was seeing this film called Pirates, and it's a really weird film. It came out in 1986. It got recommended to me somehow. I don't know how. And I was looking into it, and I was like, "Oh, this seems kind of interesting." Someone posted the full movie on YouTube, so I decided to see it. And I'm about 30 minutes into it, and I'm like, "This is the weirdest pirate movie I've ever seen in my life." But one of the things that's great about that film is they actually built an actual ship.
Oh wow. An actual galleon ship?
An actual galleon ship, correct. Yeah. So
wow.
I was trying to think of the word. That's the word. So it was a $7 million, and they didn't dismantle it or anything. It's in a port somewhere, I think in Spain or something. I forget where. And you can actually, take a tour in the ship. They actually do tours on the ship, and they use the ship for another film other than this film. But this ship was built specifically for this film. And I thought, and if you look at the ship, it's extravagant. It's not only like life size. It's a real ship. You can actually set sail on it if you really wanted to. But it also has like these, I don't know what material they're made out of, but they have these statues in the front and on the sides of different kind of Greek gods and shit like that. It's crazy. And they're huge. There's a point in the film, in the beginning of the film, where one of the characters is climbing onto the boat, and he climbs onto one of the statues, and that thing, the head was the size of the actor. It's huge. Like, I was like, holy crap, And they do magnificent shots, like wide angle shots going up and down. And you could feel, it's also because of the lenses they probably used to film it, but the enormity is felt when you see them climbing onto the ship in the beginning. It's just amazing. So yeah, the content of the film is extremely weird, though. I mean, there's one point where like there's like oatmeal on the ground, and they eat literally off the ground, and I'm like, ew, that's gross. And they do a lot of weird shit in this film, like that. Really disgusting shit and whatever. Like, I'm not a fan of that. There's one point where the character slips on, like, not once but twice on the
actual
deck.
Like actual manure.
It may have been actual for all I know. Yeah, so who knows? It was really gross. There's a lot of really gross in this film, but there's a lot of really interesting. Like Walter Matthau is in it. He's the main character. He's one of the pirates. He's really interesting in the film. He really goes ham. Like, he really just, as soon as he signed on to the film, he's like, I'm going to be a pirate, and I will do all kinds of crazy shit as a pirate. And Roman Polanski's like, yes, you can do whatever you want. Yes. That's the vibe I get from watching this thing. And I'm 30 minutes into it. I have another hour and 30 left, I think. So I can't wait to see what else is there to see in this film.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last movie I've seen that he's directed. I mostly just, obviously Rosemary's Baby, but that's late 60s. I've seen some of his 70s movies. What was the one with Dunaway and Jack Nicholson? That came out in
Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Yeah.
And
he did The Tenant, which is a pretty good film.
Oh yeah, that's also 70s. Yeah.
My favorite film of his is The Pianist.
That sounds really
with Adrian Brody.
I have seen that. Okay, so maybe that's the last movie of his I've seen. That's not that long ago. That's about 20 years back.
Yeah, about 15, 20 years back, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good movie, actually.
It's a very good movie. It's probably my favorite one of his.
I may have seen any of them, but then I don't. Maybe when I was younger, and I don't really recall. Like, I don't really remember directors' names for some reason. Even though I studied film back in college and in high school, actually, film as literature. I don't know. They just didn't register, I guess, in my head. And
This one's one of
yeah,
the infamous directors, so usually,
yeah, that's all I know. That he was infamous for having some sort of sex, being a sex offender of some sort.
exactly. Yeah. He's a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. Not basically, 100% he is.
100%.
He's a very talented piece of shit, though.
Yeah. True.
I mean,
That's-
with these like really talented people, they somehow have like skeletons in their closet, and they just
A lot of
are
people-
like
a lot of
some
people-
rotten. Like
Yeah, no, a lot of people
Yeah.
do, and I heard having worked in that industry for a little bit. You know, you hear rumors. So the problem is they're just rumors until they finally come out. So
Mhm.
that was the thing with the whole Cosby thing. Like there were rumors about that for a long time apparently, but you know, it only took one guy. It was Hannibal Buress, the comedian, to make a joke about it.
Great comedian. Great comedian too.
Yeah. So it took
Hannibal.
yeah, so it took him to say something about it, and then all of a sudden people were like looking into it, and they're like, "Oh wait, there are
Yeah.
actual news stories about this, and no one's really reported this on a national level. This is crazy." Which eventually led to his conviction. So,
Yeah.
and then the prosecutors f***ed up, and eventually led to his release.
Exactly. It's disturbing.
Yeah, that's really fucked up.
Oh man. Oof. Yeah, talk about a fucking monster. Jeez.
Oh yeah, I
it
mean
should just.
Weinstein is just as bad, but yeah, if not worse,
Exactly.
maybe.
Yeah. These people are filth.
But I'm guessing that you need to have that sort of wicked or twisted mind in order for you to like turn out good like media for people to watch or enjoy. I guess I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe yeah, because you just I guess some people are able to curb that intention or those activities in in their daily lives, but they need to like put that on like some sort of media. So maybe us like some of us who were in the film industry are like, we draw from from these things from the back of from our unconsciousness and churn out these really good films, but then some people Harvey Weinstein and the likes of Roman Polanski, they just could not hide it anymore and just do it. They act on it, and that's when they get caught and or not get caught, and we probably still have like some of these sex offenders out there. But my point was that you probably just have to have this like unconsciousness that's full of this weird up shit in order for you to make a good film or good literature.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's possible. And you don't necessarily have to commit a crime, because I heard stories about Steven Spielberg, for instance, which, nothing really awful. Just want to make it clear. But
Oh, okay. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
he molested so many puppets and
No.
and things like that. And E.T.'s got a story coming out. I have a hot story about that one. No, I hear things like, sometimes when it comes to working with some of these high profile people, they're people that give them ideas and they kind of take them and they run with it and they claim that they're their own ideas and things like that. You have things like that happen kind of all the time. And, and I don't think it's necessarily unique to the top figures. I think everyone kind of does it to one extent or another. But the problem is that a lot of people have this idea of like, this person is in this position because they are an absolute genius at everything they do. But then when you actually look into it, it's just like, yeah, they're good at what they do, but they also have a lot of people helping them, and they have a lot of people that do stuff for them, that enhances their stuff. They're human, in other words. It's like probably the most famous case of that is like finding out about George Lucas in particular. It's really funny, like growing up, you hear like Star Wars created by George Lucas, like he created everything, every single thing, all the costumes and this and that. And then when I come to find as an adult, like, oh, he came up with the idea, but all these other people came up with the actual designs and the props and the costumes. Sometimes even on set, the actors were left to their own devices and being like Harrison Ford at one point was just like, all right, so I was in the Millennium Falcon and I was asking George, so how do these knobs and dials and buttons work? And he just looked at me and was just like, I don't know, just pull stuff, just make it up, just whatever, we got to film in a bit. So George Lucas had no idea what he was doing most of the time, and he's infamous for not talking as much to his actors. He's very much to himself, which is kind of not what you're supposed to do as a director. You're supposed to be kind of like, not super outgoing, but you're supposed to at least, tell people what
Yeah.
to do and stuff. At least give them the
Exactly,
basic
yeah.
idea. But he was very infamous in being like, I guess we're gonna go in there and just act. Just act. Do your thing. You're an actor, right? Yes,
I
George.
think
But
they're really rich for doing this, man. And it makes me a bit angry, but yeah.
Yeah.
If we were all like this, like I guess if we were just given the opportunity to direct films, we would probably be like that guy, like George Lucas, and just
maybe
mumble in the corner.
Kind of like Clint Eastwood, I think. I gather that's
Clint
how he
Eastwood's
is.
more intimidating. But yeah, he's very also
True, but he's
direct.
very chill. He's also chill though, because he's known for like very a lot of minimalism, and like, all right, we got the shot, and I think we're good here. And
Yeah, well,
I've heard actors say like, "Wait, we don't want to do another take." No, I think we got it here, and we're
Yeah.
good.
well,
And so
basically,
they're like,
yeah. Sometimes
okay.
he just goes like, all right,
Yeah,
cut it out, cut that shit out.
exactly, yeah.
We're done. Because
I
was
always gathered he's a very efficient director, like, and he's
In
of
that
that old
sense.
school too, right? So
yeah, he just wants to get the shot and get it out of the way, and that comes from him going on. What was it, Rawhide? Was that, or was it Bonanza?
Correct.
Was it Rawhide? One of the really old cowboy shows he was on when he was like maybe 20 years old or something like that. The reason why he doesn't shout and all that stuff is because one time he was on a horse or something, and one of the directors was like, action! He was like yelling, and it startled the horses, and he could have fallen off and broken his neck or something. And since then, he's like, I don't want to do that. That's just reckless.
Yeah.
So he was doing that. But, sometimes I think Matt Damon or one of these actors was just like, they did that one take, and he's like, I think I could do better. And Clint Eastwood was like, sure, you want to waste everyone's time? Go ahead. Just straight up, like, and then he was like, never mind. Like, that's what I thought. We're moving on. I was like, he just doesn't, if he feels like he's got it, he doesn't want to do another one. He's just one of those guys.
I remember at his many years back, he had like the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award, and Jim Carrey was talking about working with Clint Eastwood.
What did he work with him on?
Okay, I honestly don't remember anymore.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He played like a junkie.
Oh, maybe one of his old, like a Dirty Harry film or something.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. It was definitely a Dirty Harry movie. Yeah,
The Deadpool.
yeah, it was. It was one.
It was the Deadpool. It was
Deadpool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a Dirty Harry film. Yes.
And Jim Carrey is on set, like, oh man, I can handle it, and then he collapses or something.
Yeah.
So he shows it on stage at that award ceremony.
Doesn't he collapse and he lands flat on his back or something?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've seen that clip. Yeah.
And he says something, with Clint, how his style of directing, and it's like, all right, well, let's see what the kid has, and let's see what happens. And then, probably one take, right? That's it.
He's like a clown. You're like a birthday party. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's a good movie. Yeah, it's a great movie, by the way.
The Deadpool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I guess it's time to wrap this up. So thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Shooting the Shit. So we're going to be with you next time. I don't know when. Talking about, movies and stuff.
Oh, yeah. You know it. Appreciate it for tuning in. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
And special thank you to Chinoy.
Thank you for having me, Canuck and Yankee. Hopefully, I get to get back. Hopefully,
Now we go and kill him and roast him.
roast me again.
He's already roasted. We should just eat him.
Yeah. I'm ready for eating.
All right, guys.
To be
So
served.
we're going to eat dinner. So see you guys next time.
All right, peace.